And we're back with another one. Hello, it's me, we anime or anime wheat, whichever one, I don't care. Um, if you don't hear me good, it's because it's raining, and I still wanted to get a video out for you all. Um, yeah, I wanted to get a video out for you, and yeah, so if my audio is worse than normal, you'll know why. Yeah, this is, well, yeah. And disclaimer, like usual, I stutter my words, and if I say sorry randomly during mid-sentence, I either are coughing or uh, bodily functions. Okay, and yeah, welcome back to another part of What If Deku was Nanami's reincarnation. Yeah, welcome back. Thank you for subscribing, everyone. The people who have, I thank you. I'm happy some people like my content. Um, yeah, I thank you. Thank you all for listening, subscribing, and all this nonsense and all of it. Yeah, and let's get into the story. Okay, where we last left off was when we ended the race portion of the sports festival. If you what don't go watch the last part. Yeah. And they were all in the back trying to find people. Well, the people, all 42, I think 42, I may be wrong, but all the students back at the back are looking for a partner. See, in this one, there are a change of rules in the sense of you can be by yourself. Sorry, right? You can be by yourself if you want to. And that's what Midoriya does. He goes by himself and he sees everyone else find a team besides him, which he's fine with because he's more of a lone wolf than one that goes in a pack. So he thinks of a plan where he would probably go after the small people, like the small points, so that he could get through to the 1v1s. Right. So they all go out on the field, they get their the teams get everyone gets in their groups, right? And they all, well, President Mike would say, "Whoa." Oh yeah, I forgot to put in a disclaimer about I do impressions. I'm sorry about putting this so late, okay? I'm sorry. But I do impressions. I try to. Okay. If you watch any other of my videos, you would know. I try to do impressions, okay? So let's get back to the story. Oh, that's interesting. I saw, look, a Razorhead. Do you see your one student? Your prize student? He's all by himself. But yeah, that's interesting. I wonder, he probably couldn't find anyone, or he wanted to go by himself. And when President Mike would finish his sentence, um, a Racerhead would say, "Well, he's quite known for being by himself in some things." Um, so yeah, it's not really surprising. There's a saying of like he's a lone wolf to be exact, really, instead of one that travels with his pack. Is that geese? Is that geese? See, I don't have any like migration paths where I live, so I don't see geese a lot. So that's why you hear geese. Okay, okay, back to the story. I was just looking at. geese. Okay, I was interested. But yeah, as I would say the thing he said, and we will go back down to Midoriya, and he would be looking around for people that he could probably take on his own, and he sees a group. I'm gonna say it's Bakugo. No, it's just a random group. Okay, he bolts at them first, right? He goes at them first, takes out their like right person, like say if there were like like a big thing, like their thing, like in the actual show in the anime. Um, he would take the person up in front, take him out in like a he would like slap. No, he would punch in the weak point. If you don't know, it's Nanami's uh tech curse technique. He would um hit the person up front. They would go flying, so everything would topple down. Midoriya would jump up while the person on top that would be holding up the points, like holding the headbands. He would grab all of them, put them on, and go. He would run, go to another team, do the same thing over and over again, and he would have targets on his back just of from the fact that he took these people's points, and they would get like first team would try to get them trying to get their points back again, and that it would the same thing would happen. Midoriya would take the person up front, everything, and everyone would fall, right? And then he would do this all over again, and then he would stop he would stop running for a minute to like watch. He would try to look at his surroundings, and he would see the third place team with the third amount points, so Ida's team. Ida wouldn't be in the same team as Todoroki in this one, okay? They wouldn't be in the same team like canon. So he would try to go after them. I'm gonna say like the team was Mei Hatsume, um uh Oraka, and Tsuyu. I think that's how you say that. The probably the Tsuyu, yeah, if you ever, yeah, that would be that team. He would go after them, um, and try to jump up, grab the like the headband, like the third place headband, try to grab it, but yet end up missing and be jumped. Well, he would land on the other side of them. The team would like they would turn around, start like trying to get his points, but yet when they would be running like Ida the bottom and whatnot, uh Ida would no Midori would jump up, do like some like movement in the air, grab the headband right out of midair, but they had points by that point also, but yet he would grab the third place one on purpose. Just that one, not the others, right? And he would start running again to get away from the other teams, and he would keep on running and running and running until the time would be up, right? So everyone would pass that. Well, everyone would pass that past in canon, right? They would all pass. Now it's time for the 1v1s. I know I'm going quick because I want to do something. Um, Well, yeah, I want to get the calorie battle over with because I should have done it last part, but I didn't because I was running out of time. Okay. But yeah, he would pass with in like the fifth place of the overall in the thing in the cavalry battle, right? he would pass at like fifth place, okay? But yet he wouldn't care. He's just happy that he passed, right? See, and now we go to the first battle of the first round of the 1v1s. It is Midoriya versus Hitoshi Hitoshi Sensho. I know I'm saying that weird, but yeah, Shinso. That's how you say it. Okay, and they would be 1-1. And before Midoriya would go out, Ojiro would tell him the same thing he told him in canon about the how Shinso's quirk worked. He would tell him that and tell Midoriya not to talk back to him, right? And he did just that. He didn't talk to him at all. Shinso would try to be going after his classmates, Midoriya himself, his mother. He doesn't care at all, right? But Midoriya would start walking slowly towards Shinso, and then he would start running at Shinso, and then going even faster and faster until he got up in front of him, which he would slow down and start walking again. And when Midoriya got close enough, Shinso would be throwing punches, kicks, anything he could do, but Midoriya would be dodging, moving out of the way, jumping the kicks. And then once Shinso was like decently tired, Midoriya would do a like a Spartan kick, like just right into the chest and knock him out of the ring, which he hit with in the weak spot in Shinso's weak spot, like on the spot in the ratio line, he would hit him there. Okay, right. And Midoriya's look would be same. It would be this, but in the UA training uniform, right? He would still have his goggles on because, well, that's him. It's he wears them all the time. He wears them all the time. The only time he takes them off is during class, and even though they would still be right there beside him if he needs it. So yeah, and well, the fights would go on and on as in canon. Um, yeah, until we get to the second round, the first fight of the second round, which is Midoriya versus Todoroki, right? So they stand off from each other, which I don't think I said this in either the other two parts. I don't believe I said this. But Todoroki, see, I'm gonna take a rant through during this, okay? See, I have a plan for a ship, okay, in this, but yet I cannot decide who I want to do, who I want to put with Midoriya, okay? I don't know who I want to do, right? It is either, well, I'll put them down in the description, right? See, I don't know between the two, but yeah, I don't know between the two. So please decide for me. Um, you will see. See, I won't be saying anything about the one of the characters right now. Okay, I won't be saying it at the moment. I forgot to turn that on. Sorry if you saw any notifications. I'm sorry. But yet I'll write it down in the description if I remember to. At the end of the video, I'll also say it. But yeah. Okay, now let's get back to the story. So, second round, first fight of the second round is about to start, right? And Midoriya, well, we're gonna go back in time for a little bit, okay? And this is when Midoriya is about to walk out, but Endeavor stops Midoriya and asks him a favor, ask for a favor. And Midoriya would say, "Why would you ask a favor of me?" And Endeavor would say, "Because you're the only one I see to give Todoroki a challenge. Besides that Bakugo kid, you and that Bakugo kid is the only one to give a challenge to Todoroki. I need you to make sure they use their fire side." And Endeavor would walk off, and Midoriya would say, "I can try. I'm not gonna guarantee anything." And that's when, and now we go back to present. And Todoroki would say, "I bet my old," they would say, "I bet my old man told you to asked you to try to make me use my fire side. I'm gonna tell you right now, that's not gonna happen. I'm not using that quirk. I'm not using his quirk." And Midoriya would stay silent until the bell would, midnight would say to start the fight. Okay. Midoriya would start running at Todoroki as fast as he could because he knows if he if he plays around with this one, he's gonna lose. Sorry. Um, yeah. He knows that he will lose in a matter of seconds. And as he's thinking this and running in a zigzag motion, Todoroki would send a wave of ice right at him. And Midoriya would hit it and it would shatter. The ice would shatter, right? And then he would run through more, trying to get up closer to Todoroki. Todoroki would make a even larger ice wave, would launch a even larger ice wave at Todoroki. Not Todoroki, that's at Midoriya, right? And yet Midoriya would hit this one, it would shatter also, but not like shatter as the fact like the first one did. It would shatter in like two pieces. Midoriya would cut it in half, really, like not like in half, like up and down, like side to side. And so he would start running on the ice or sliding on the ice, really. He would run, he would turn around, which Todoroki would get confused a little bit. T- Midoriya would turn around and turn around mid-run and start running back at Todoroki and jump on the ice wave he uh that he that Midoriya cut in half. He would start sliding on it. And he's surprisingly good at this, right? He's surprisingly good at like skating on it, I guess, even though he doesn't have skates on. It's just his normal shoes, which is not the regular old red bread shoes. It's the shoes you see in the picture. Sorry, I had something on the phone. It was a hair, I believe. I don't know. I wasn't paying attention. It was. And doesn't matter. Um, yeah. He would start skating on the ice or sliding on it. Couldn't really tell, but Todoroki would send more ice, like waves, and they would get cut in half, one after another. So, and Midoriya would be so close, and he would say right in front of Todoroki, "That's not his quirk. It's yours, Todoroki." And Midoriya would pull back his hand and go for a punch on what side is it? Is it left side? Isn't his fire side on his left side and his ice side on his on their on his uh crap on his left? I believe it is on his left. Yeah, it's on his. He would go for a punch on his left side. Yeah, his left side. And he would connect, but Todoroki would make a wave like a wall of ice that uh that that Todoroki would crash into and wouldn't get eliminated yet. And he and Todoroki would just now register what Midoriya just said, and Midoriya would keep on saying it's your quirk, it's your quirk every time he would punch Todoroki. And he's not hitting him in the weak spot in his ratio line. He's just hitting him over and over again. And then and then uh he would and Midoriya would try to hit Todoroki again on his left side, on his fire side. And Todoroki would engulf in flames. His left side would burst into flames. And the fight was on right now, right? It just got heated up. The fight just heated up, literally. And Todoroki would send like ice waves, fire waves, back and forth on each at uh at Midoriya. And Midoriya would he would hit the ice and it would shatter, right? But for the fire, it's harder to find a ratio line. But he can do explosions. But it's harder for him to find the ratio line in for the fire, right? But yet sometimes he would hit the ratio line on the fire and sometimes he wouldn't. The times he wouldn't, like he would get hit by the fire, uh like like he would get burned by the fire, but yet like not a bad burn. Like he would get hit, okay. But the times he would uh get find the ratio line and hit it, the flames would like disperse. That's the word. People. But yeah, the the ice he would be able to hit all the time. He would shatter all. So Todoroki would mostly focus on fire at this point. And and one time he would send a ice wave, right? It would be like decently big, and Midoriya would hit a spike on it and like and hit it off and grab it and like his weapon, uh like Nanami's weapon. And it would be way easier for Midoriya to actually find the ratio line on the fire and ice with this. And he would keep on getting closer and closer to Todoroki. But yet The closer he got to Todoroki, the harder the flames and the bigger the ice waves were getting. And by this time, his like shirt would be burned, right? His left right sleeve, that's what they're called. His right sleeve would be burnt off. His like some of his like jacket would be burnt off, and so his right like in his right pec, like if you're a male, you know your pecs. His right pec would be shown, and his like half of his body would be shown. It would be like, say if you tore your hoodie or your shirt, or you know how Todoroki burnt some of his shirt during the sports festival. That's what it is, just like more more of the lower body is showing Midoriya. And so he looks down at his watch, which is uh fireproof question mark, and he would look at the time and he sees it's over 12 o'clock. And he would think, well, he would say this out loud. It's overtime. I hate going overtime. And and Midoriya would be engulfed in a blue aura, right? And so now he would be, well, not faster, but the ice and fire ratio lines to him would be way more visible, way more see, he would be wearing like a collar, like a collar, like a dog collar under his like shirt, right on his right arm, not his right arm, around his neck, like a dog collar, but yet it's more like a choker, if you know what that is. It's like I feel like you do, a choker around his neck, right? He would rip it off and throw it, and then he would get engulfed by a blue aura. I forgot to put that there because he wears like dehancers. His like as you see in the picture, his hero costume, right? His tie is a cork dehancer, right? It's like in the anime, or if you know anything about JJK, this is how Nanami's like tie works. He would his tie is a cursed energy like holder, depressor, I think it is, but I don't remember. I would have to check, or someone write it in the comments if you know more about it. But yeah, he would take like the choker off, rip it off, and he would, well, Midoriya would be engulfed in like a blue aura, and everyone would look like, wonder what that is, and like everyone around the arena except for like Class 1A and Aizawa. Aizawa would know. So Aizawa would say, well, President Mike would say, "Whoa! Why did he get engulfed in a whoa? What? Well, let me find the voice. Whoa! Why did he get engulfed in a like a blue aura? Eraserhead?" And Aizawa would say, he's wearing a quirk dehancer. So, well, the thing he ripped off around his neck and why he looked at his watch. If he goes over 12, apparently, or like a certain time, I don't know what time it is. I just know it's a time. If he goes what he calls overtime, he he is more obliged to rip off or take off his tie or take off, well, as we saw, a choker. I think that was. I need to talk about that. Why is he wearing a choker? And Aizawa would be saying in his head, why is he wearing a choker? I mean, I know he doesn't wear his tie all the time, but yet, why a choker of all things? I gotta talk to that kid, or maybe Bakugo or Kaminari. I don't know. I need to talk to one of them because, well, if you haven't watched any of the other two parts of this, what if? Bakugo and Kaminari and Midoriya grew up with each other as friends. Right, they grew up as friends. Okay, sorry. Um, but we would go back down to Midoriya, and like I said earlier, he would be upped in strength. It would be easier to find the ratio lines, and well, not easier, but they would do more like strength. They would do more damage if like to the ice and the fire of Todoroki. And then Todoroki would, well, you know how in canon they made a giant clash. They can't really do that, but they could technically. See, Midoriya would be getting faster. He would run quicker and try to get to Midoriya quicker. I mean, not Midoriya. Midoriya would run to Todoroki a lot faster. He would get up and close and keep on. He would punch him a lot. Like, if you know, JoJo, is that what that's called? Bizarre Adventures, I think that's what that's called. And he would like punch him a lot, and then one final punch hits the weak point in the ratio line. And Todoroki would go flying, but he would stop himself but like with his fire and his ice, he would have an ice wall catch him and send him back on a slide. And he would send like in the anime where, during this event where Todoroki and Midoriya would make a giant, like, explosion, really. He would send that attack at Midoriya, right? And Midoriya would be able to hit it, but yet he would get hit, not launched or anything. But yet he would stand his ground. He would start getting slid back, and he would get engulfed by the ice and fire, and nobody could see him, but they could hear like cracking in the ice. They could hear cracking in the ice, and they see Midoriya stand up. Well, like it would still make a giant shockwave when he would hit it at first. So Todoroki would send the giant attack at Midoriya, right? And Midoriya would hit it at full strength, but yet it wouldn't like shatter it. It would, but yet like stall it, make it not hurt. It would cause less damage to Midoriya, but yet it would still cause a giant shockwave. Everyone would be like, well, cement toss would make the like the giant walls and crap, and it would all happen. Everyone would be like questioning if Midoriya, because they could see Todoroki still. He would be standing or getting back up from the quake of the shockwave. He would be getting back up, and then everyone could hear it like a cracking in the ice, and they would see a boy about fully naked, really, with like his whole entire like top shirt is gone, like his leg, like his right leg of his pants would be gone, but yeah, he would still have his shoes, like his shoe is still there, but got on fire. And his like you could see his underwear from this plain black underwear. I don't know what to explain to you. It would be you could see his underwear, but yet the underwear would be on fire, about burning. His left leg would be about the same, but yet his like his like you know how shorts they get like cut off somewhere, like a bow right above his knee would be like his knee, top of his knee down would be gone. His shoe would still be there. Um, the top of his knee up would still be there. The bottom down would be not would not be there. And as he would be climbing out of the ice, he would be bloody from his wounds on his chest and leg. There would be burns. Some of his hair is gone. He has burns on his face, but not like major burns or anything, right? And he would get back up and start running at Todoroki again. Todoroki would be worried for his classmate, his friend, the person he looked up to, or sort of after this. After this, he would look up to him, but yet he would be worried for his classmate. And Todoroki would say, "Just forfeit, Midoriya. There's no need to get hurt more." And but yet Midoriya wouldn't listen, and he would still keep on fighting and fighting and fighting. But Todoroki's power in his quirk would be tiring out Midoriya very quickly. See, Midoriya never wanted to be at the top or anything. He just wanted to do what was right, and he didn't care, and he wouldn't stop fighting until he died. Or, well, that's what he would say. He would said that to Bakugo and Kaminari during training, during when they would train, right, in the 10 months period, right? He would say that, right? And, well, I'm gonna do a we're going to go back in time during that point, during the 10 months. It would be like 2 months away from the entrance exam where we would do a flashback to. And they would be having, well, what's his face? Uh, Bakugo and Midoriya would be sparring, right? Using their quirks and everything. And Bakugo would use a giant explosion, right? And Midoriya would be like some of his clothes would be burned, gone away, and he would and Midoriya and Bakugo would say, uh, what Todoroki said. There's no reason to get hurt more during a match or like a spar, but yet Midoriya wouldn't listen, and he would keep on fighting until well during that time he would win, right? Midoriya would win in this point, at this point, right? But during, and we will, and after that, he would say to Danky and Bakugo, to those two, he would say, I never want to be at number one. I never want to. I just want to do what's right and save people and do my best. And if there's a fight to protect somebody, or to show people how strong I am, just because I don't have a flashy quirk, I will do everything to do that. And nobody will tell me no to do that. I will not quit. I will bleed as much as I have to. I'll cry as much as I have to. But yeah, I will show people that you do not need a flashy quirk to be strong. And we will go back to present during this fight. And Midoriya would keep on fighting against Todoroki punches, and he would hit Todoroki a lot, but Todoroki would send a fire blast or a fire wave at Midoriya, and Midoriya would get launched back, and he would stand back up and go back at him again to get launched back, keep on going, and he would grab Todoroki Like when he would try to launch them again, and they would get both of them would fly back because of the momentum of how strong Midori not Midoriya Todoroki's like blast was. They would both go flying into the middle of the arena, and then they would like send well. Todoroki would use fire blast, like his fire side more, right? And since he was so close up and close with Midoriya, they would keep on fighting. Nobody was calling it off, even though they should have. Um, they would keep on fighting to the fact where Todoroki wouldn't even use his quirk anymore. They would be just brawling it out. Neither of them using their quirks, just punch after punch after punch. They wouldn't stop until they both would fall to their knees and be well, they would still be punching each other. They'd be both on their knees, punching each other, and well, until Todoroki would put up his hand and use his fire side at point blank at Midoriya, but Midoriya would move out of the way, grab that arm out of his fire side, and throw him on the ground, and then Todoroki would get back up, like using like an ice pillar to rest on to help him up. And Midori would do the same. Midori would go back running at Todoroki, fight and fight until until Todoroki would use another giant like the mix of ice and fire attack like he did in canon. He would launch it again at Midoriya. Midori would hit it again. It would shatter, but he would shatter everything. All the ice that Todoroki sent, all the fire. He would disperse the fire and crack the ice. He would be standing there, bloody to burnt, and then he would fall to his knees and then pass out flat on his face. And then just a couple seconds after that, no. Midoriya would start like to wobble to he would start like trying to go at Todoroki again, and he would fall to his knees and start like crawling on his knees to get to Todoroki, and then he would punch Todoroki in the gut. Todoroki would fall to his knees. He would Todoroki would punch Midoriya in the jaw, and Midoriya would pass out and would be leaning on Todoroki's shoulders, and Todoroki would be declared the winner in this, but yet right after the fact, not right after, uh, he would fall down and Midoriya and Todoroki would be laying right beside each other as like paramedics, uh, whatever I think they were robots. I think they used robots to carry people out. They would be carried out to the medic room. Uh, Midoriya he would have to need surgery on his hand to ever use it again, like he did in canon. He would have the same scars as in canon because since he didn't use a weapon for most of the time to break all the ice and fire, his hand would be well, you know Dobby, right? His hand basically, but yet his uh Midoriya's hand uh so one side would be burnt and it would be scarred and burnt. His like Midoriya's scar in canon, how his hand is the scar, like one on one side and one on the other, right? But yeah, add burns all over the place on that. Okay, his hand would be burnt, mangled, really. But yeah, he could still use his hand if he ever needs to hit something, right? And the fights would go as in canon. Bakugo would end up winning. Uh, yeah, he would end up winning. So now we do a time skip to, was it a week after the Swords Festival? No, I don't think they got a break, right? I don't remember, but I'm gonna say they did get a break, at least a couple day break. Like that, this would be on Friday, okay, where we skip to, and this is when they get the recommendations for the internships, right? So we would the highest would be Todoroki and Bakugo between like Todoroki would get like 2,000 and Bakugo would get 2,000 as well. But yet uh no, no. Todoroki would get 4,000, Bakugo would get like almost 4,000, but yet not nearly. Um Midoriya would get like 1,000 or like 2,000, nearly 3,000 recommendations. And that would be at the beginning of the day when they would get that, and they would look through for a little bit, and then they would get to classes. And when they were, well, time skip to lunch, right? Um, Midoriya would get a call on his phone in the middle of that, and it would be his mother telling uh telling Midoriya she won't be home when uh Midoriya would would get back from school, and it would because she would be working late again, and not Midoriya would say, "Okay, that's fine. Um, I can cook and get whatever I can cook when I get home for you." And they would have a conversation, and while they would be at lunch, and once he would get off the phone, he would start eating again and talk to his friends that he would be sitting with, right? It would be in those long tables, right? They would be talking, everyone would be, really. And Todoroki would be, well, Todoroki would still be eating, but yet he would be staring at Midoriya. Well, they would. I'm still not sure if I want to make Todoroki a female yet. I don't know. I don't know yet. I'll, I'll decide, uh, uh, during next part or something. But yeah, they would be talking. Todoroki would be staring at Midoriya more, a lot, and would be talking to Midoriya, asking questions, about his life and whatnot, how he met with Bakugo and Kaminari, and yeah. So we will time skip to the end of the day when Midoriya would be going home, and he would get home, he would turn on the TV in his room, and he would be studying for some minute. He would be looking through his recommendations, his internships, and while on the he would be on the news channel, right? And he would see on the headline, uh, on the news that one of the news reporter people would say, a villain attack happened to a small company named I don't. Watatabe's industry or something. It was a tech company, right? It was a tech company, and they would work, and he would, and Midori would recognize the name from the, uh, from the office name, and he would say, "That's where my mom works." Well, that's where mom works. Oh no. And right after that, he would hear he would hear on the TV multiple hostages, couple dead found, and they would show pictures of the dead, uh, people, the dead that were found dead. And one would be Inko Midoriya. And Midor and Midoriya's dad, well, Izuku's dad wouldn't be around anymore. He passed away when uh Midoriya was 5, I'm gonna say. So now that he lost both parents, he doesn't know. He would quit. He would turn off the TV. He would quit looking at recommendations, right? And he would well, before he would turn off the TV, he heard that they captured the villain, and they were putting him in jail. So he's happy about one thing, that his mother's murderer aren't isn't going um to go without thing. And he would get a phone call, and it would be Bakugo, and Bakugo would say, "Did you see the news today?" And Midora, in a sad tone, would say, "Yeah, I did." And right when they would be talking, uh, you would hear a knock on the door. Well, Midori would hear a knock on the door, and it would be Kaminari and Bakugo. They would come in, and they would all sit down and talk those two would talk to Midoriya. Midoriya would be tearing up and all of this. See, Midoriya in this story is more stoic. He would be more calm. He wouldn't cry as much. He would be more quiet. But it's it's rare to see him cry or anything. So, uh, not Todoroki. Kaminari would stay there the night with Midoriya because Bakugo lived right next door in the uh in the house right next door, or like a or the block, a around the block, so they could get to each other very easily. Kaminari wouldn't live. He would live in the. He would live relatively close. I hope you can hear me. It just started to rain harder. I hope you can still hear me. But yeah. Kaminari would call his parents and tell them he's staying the night with Midoriya, and he would tell them the news about how Midoriya would has lost his mother, and yeah, and his parents would understand why. And Midoriya would stay up all night, wouldn't get any sleep wouldn't sleep at all that night. He stayed up crying. He would be bawling at all of this. So on the next morning, which Kaminari did get to sleep, he did sleep a bit, so he would be more ready than Midori. And once uh Kaminari woke up, he would he would see that Midori was gone, and he would start getting worried, and start he would start running around the house. And well, he would get to the kitchen, right, and see uh Midoriya cooking. He could still hear this, like he would be crying still, but he would be cooking. And and Kaminari would see a plate of food already down on the table, and he would go up to, he would, Kaminari would walk up to, Midoriya and say, it's, I don't know how to comfort people, man. But in movies, you would, I hear people saying, it's gonna be okay, and yeah, I don't know how to comfort people, man. I just don't know. But yeah, he would try to comfort Midoriya. They would eat food, they would talk. Midoriya has bags under his eyes. His eyes would be red, bags under his eyes. Bakugo would end up showing up just a little bit after uh to check on Midoriya, and Kaminari would say, or Bakugo when he would open the door would say, he would look at Midoriya and say, "Did you get any sleep?" And Midoriya would say, "No, not none at all." And they would be over there. Kaminari did get the numbers to other students. Uh, Midoriya would get the numbers of his teachers. That's it. And sometime during the Saturday, they would Midoriya would hear all three of them would hear a knock at the door. It would be Mitsuki and a and Aizawa. Like they would all be seen confused. Which Aizawa knew where Midoriya would live because they had to send the thing there, and Aizawa would walk in and would be talking to Midoriya about what happened, and it would be weird to Midoriya to see one of his teachers and one of his like favorite heroes in his house. He would be very confused. Like he is he and Aizawa would say, "You can try to get some sleep, kid." And Mitsuki would be, I don't know, she would be doing something. Uh, she would tell Midoriya about the funeral they would be having. Uh, he and Midoriya, which this surprised everyone, he would say, "I don't want to go," and they would all have a confused look on their face. And Midoriya would say, "Funerals are so sad, and my mother wouldn't want to see me sad, even though I kind of look sad on a daily basis because the loss of my father, and anytime I thought of him, I would be sad and I would cry that day to myself to sleep." I don't know. I'm not going. I didn't go to my father's, so I'm not going to my mother's. And they would all understand why. Kaminari's parents, or his mother really, would show up and say, and ask for Kaminari to come back home, to look through his recommendations if he got any. I don't know. I don't remember. I haven't watched that episode in a long time. Um, but yet, yeah. Everyone would leave except for Bakugo. Mitsuki would go home. Bakugo would say, "I'm gonna stay here for a little bit more and help Midoriya get through and help them try to find a recommendation." everyone would leave. I saw it, the Kaminari and his mother, um, Mitsuki would leave, right? Sorry. And, and, uh, and Bakugo and Kaminari would spread the news towards Class 1A, right? They would spread the news about what happened to Midoriya and what happened to Midoriya's mother, right? And Aizawa would tell the other teachers and tell them not to like bring it up. But yet they realize that Parents' Day is happening very soon. Like they had for recommendations so that they could pick. They had until next Monday, not the Monday after this weekend, but the next one to decide recommendations. And yeah, they said we have to keep it so that we can talk to the parents, but it's it's gonna be so sad. And Aizawa would be dreading that day, which it would be a Wednesday. He would be dreading it, and he would try to convince any other teacher to take up that spot for him, but yet they wouldn't. They would go in there, they would be there, but yet they wouldn't be there by themselves. They didn't want to do that. So, and yeah, so the days would go on until Wednesday. Um, Midori would find a recommendation. It would be not Gran Torino this time. Um, but yet he would still. I'm gonna give spoiler right here. He would still be at Hosu with his hero that he chose. Uh, yeah, he would be there to do whatnot. And Wednesday would go by. Well, would come, and uh, everyone's parents would show up. Well, at least one of each of them, like like Kaminari's mother, Shoji's dad, like one of the parents of the two of one of the parents of each student. Not both of them would come, but yet like one would, or sometimes you would see both parents, right? And everyone's parents would be there, and and sorry, I was popping my knuckles. I hope you couldn't hear that, but you probably could. It was right beside my phone. But yet, and all the teachers would walk in and say, "Let's start this conference." The parent teacher conference with their students, child. And I'm gonna say, he would be the idiot to blurt this out. Not idiot, but yet I'm gonna say, Juro's dad would be there for Juro's side of things. And he would say, uh, what about, that kid's parents? And everyone would look at Midoriya but the students and teachers would look at, um, the, well, Juro's dad. They would look straight at him and like, what? In like a way where he could understand, like, why did you say that? And Midoriya would say, uh, well, everyone, he would say it to everyone. Oh, it was because my parents, well, my dad died to a sickness, to a disease when I was 5. And just recently, my mother died in a villain attack, so that's why neither of them are here. I don't really have a guardian either. I mean, I guess I kind of do, but yet I don't know. My cousin, my my aunt's my guardian, sort of, right? And he would be thinking, he would look in the air and with a blank face, like right? He would be questioning himself, like what? He would be, and by this time, everyone's parents, well, they would go one by one and introduce themselves. And when we got to Juro's dad, he would say, "I am sorry for bringing it up," and he would say his name. I do not know his name. Okay, right? I don't know his name. But yet he would say sorry for bringing it up, and he would sit down and shut his mouth. Okay, so yeah, they would all go around saying they would talk about each student. And when it came to lunch, they would, I don't know, they wouldn't go to the same lunchroom. They would eat in the class, I'd say. And during that time, all the teachers would left now, and and well, Todoroki would have his father, or no, his sister there, okay? And she would be asking Todoroki if, well, they would be finding a seat in the classroom, and they would see that Midoriya had no, well, Bakugo and Kaminari would be near there, right? And sitting next to him, talking to him. So Todoroki would say, "Well, let's go sit by then." And they would all introduce, well, Fuyumi would, which is his sister name, their sister name. I don't know what I would do. Um, they would all start talking. Midori would stay relatively quiet and would be looking to space most of the time. And Fuyumi would tap his shoulder and ask if he had any food that he brought. And Midori would say, "No, I forgot mine, and I already locked myself out the door and didn't have my keys, and I didn't want to break my door again, so I don't have anything. I mean, I do, but yeah, it's protein bars, and they taste like trash. That's why I don't make my own stuff. I'm a terrible." And he would say, "I'm a terrible cook." But right after that, Bakugo would slap on the back of his head like hard, like you could hear the slap, and he would say, "You are a wonderful cook." And and Kamino would also agree. "Yeah, you're a wonderful cook. I don't know why you're saying that you're a trash cook." And Midoriya would say, "I may be a good cook, but I'm a trash baker, or whatever you would call this." And it would be a ball about size of a like your hand, like like your palm. It would be a ball that big, like a meatball. It would look like a meatball, right? But but yet you could see like stuff from like a protein bar or something. And everyone would look confused at it, and Bakugo would grab it out of his hand and bite into it, right? And he would say, "I don't know what you mean by a terrible baker or whatever this is. I think it tastes fine, sort of, until you, oh, like, oh," and he would start going like, oh, oh, oh. And Midori by this time would grab the protein bar, like ball out of his hand, and stick it back into his bag. And Bakugo would say, "Oh, the aftertaste. Oh, God, the aftertaste. Oh, my God, the aftertaste. Eh, eh." And he would start making those type of noises. Like, bro, it tasted trash. And and uh Medora would grab Bakugo's drink, right, and make him drink the drink, which would be just water at that point, would be water. And you can see Todoroki look at Midoriya. Well, Fuyumi and Todoroki and Shoto would look at him and look down at like their feet and like grab like take their chopsticks and shove. Well, Todoroki would do this first and shove like like a noodle from his cold soba, right? Shove it in his mouth and into Midoriya's mouth, and Midoriya would have his uh goggles off, and he would be mid talking to Bakugo and while this happened, and so he would start like he wouldn't notice Todoroki feeding him, but everyone else would at the table, and they would all have like a worried face about Midoriya. That he's not even worried about it himself at the moment. He's worried about Bakugo, and Kaminari would be looking at Todoroki like, and he would whisper, "I don't think he noticed." I don't. He would whisper, "I don't think he noticed that." How does he? What? He would look shocked, and he and Mineta would be looking over like, "Why can't I be fed?" Like Mineta would say this in his head, "Why can't I be fed by that thing? By that George, gorgeous thing?" Which Todoroki is a girl. I've made up my decision. Okay, so Todoroki is a girl. Okay, and yeah, and Bakugo after he was done coughing and about to puke, he would look up and see Todoroki still like taking cold soba, like the noodles, uh, and feeding um uh Midoriya. I'm terrible with names, even though this is a legit one about him. I keep on trying to call him I keep on trying to call him Nanami, but I don't want to. So yes. A- And Bakugo would say, "You do realize you're getting fed, right?" And uh Midoriya would say, "What do you mean?" And he would finally notice a chopstick going into his mouth and leaving a noodle. And he would look over at Todoroki and with a question looking face, like, "Why were you?" And he would say, "Why were you feeding me?" He would look like confused, right? He would look confused and he would tilt his head a little bit and he would look at Todoroki and Todoroki would like shake, like shrug her shoulders, like, "I don't know. You don't have food? Got your food. Or did you? Did I just feed you my cold soda for nothing?" And she would get mad at this moment. You could like see, you could see like like murderous intent, and Fuyumi would be trying to calm her down and like offering Fuyumi's cold soda, which she would brought because she knew that Todoroki would want more. And yeah, and and Todoroki would grab Midoriya's bag and start going through it, and Midoriya would look at her in a questioned look, like, "Why are you going through my bag?" And And I hope you can hear me. Still raining. Why are you raining? Why? So almost everyone would look at Todoroki, saying that she would be throwing stuff everywhere, like out of the bag, like onto the floor, and she would finally found um like like a container, right, and pick it up and shove it like make to make Midoriya look, and Midoriya would say, "Oh, that's just flour. That's just flour." I think maybe I don't remember. And she would take a container out. Not it's not flour. Um, and she would open it up and uh see like noodles in there, like a pasta type dish, which it is katsudon that he didn't remember putting in there. Right? He would look confused, and he would say, "I didn't put that in there." And he would look like at Bakugo and Kaminari, and he would say, "Which one of you put that in there?" And Bakugo would say, "I did, because I knew you would forget your food." Jeez. Which I know they have lunch rush, but yet they were off that day, like to class 1A and 1B. He was off for those two that period of lunch. So yeah, and he would still have to work for like third and second years, right, for their lunch, but he didn't have to work for 1A or 1B the first years, right? And Todoroki, I mean like Shoto, would get mad and mad. And like Todoroki, I mean Midoriya would like look at her like confused, and he would say, "Well, I never asked you to feed me." And Todoroki would grab Midoriya by the like shoulders and start shaking him like vigorously. And like I don't know how to explain this, but yet he would be getting shook and like vigorously, like rough, like you are gonna like it. She would be yelling at him like, "You are going to give me back every noodle you." Well, no, and but yet she realized, and Fumi would like tap or like grab Todoroki's shoulder and say, "I brought extra, Todoroki. I mean Shota. I brought extra. Okay, so calm down." And Fumi would give uh say sorry about she would say sorry about her sister to Medora, and Medora say it's fine. I don't really care. And Fumi would give uh Medora a note. Like I said earlier, uh Midori didn't get any of the numbers to his classmates, only his teachers in case he had to call them about a villain attack or something. Right. He only got their numbers. Okay. He never got his classmates or anything. So he would accept the note and put it in his like pocket, in a pocket, and say, well, he would look at the note first and look at like what is this? And Fumi would say, well, that's my number and Todoroki's number if you need to call either of us. And everyone at the table would be confused why Fumi gave him hit her number. And Kamina would be nudging, like Bakugo and he would whisper to Bakugo, she's hitting on him. Oh my God. How? What? I'm so confused. Do I just have to be emotionless so that women will hit on me? And Bakugo would say, I will hit on you if you ever say that again. But what do you mean? And like, and Bakugo would say that out loud, and everyone would look at him, and Kaminari would say, "What do you mean by that? Are you do you secretly like me?" I'm flattered, but I don't swing that way, man. And Bakugo would start like using like popping explosion in his hands. I will murder you, Kaminari. You dunce face. Hey, and Kaminari would say, "Hey, that's not nice. Be nice to me. I took care of Midori on that first night. Ooh, so eat it, dynamite murder explosion person. You Pomeranian. You Kachan." No, that one would get you mad. And he would start, Kaminari would start laughing his butt off. He would start laughing so much. And Bakugo would be so mad at the moment. But yet he sat back down and started just like under his like whispering curses over and over again. He would be saying like, I'm gonna kill that guy, I'm gonna kill him, I'm gonna kill him, I'm gonna kill him, I'm gonna kill him, I'm gonna kill him. And Madara would be so confused. But yet he would open the container and start eating. He would finish it in a relatively quick manner, and everyone like he would finish it quickly. And everyone would look at him and say, "Have you not eaten anything for like the past few days?" And Midori would say, "Not really. I ate breakfast and a protein ball and trained a lot, and then I ate like another protein ball. So I haven't ate a lot for the past few days. I haven't ate good." Well, Baku would say, "I'm guessing he hasn't ate good, like healthy, like full meals since Sunday because I was with him on Sunday. Well, for the night and day. He also haven't slept a lot. Have you?" And he would turn to Midoriya and say, "Have you slept ever?" And Midoriya would say and put his hand up and so would say, "I got like an hour of sleep last night before I got woken up by a nightmare. It's not fun anymore." But yet now we do a time skip to the Monday, and well, this is when they start their internships. Um, Midoriya would pick a hero, small hero, but yet he had like a. Uh, I'm also gonna say like Endeavor offered him, so he would actually no, he would be on the same internship as Todoroki, which is Endeavor. They would be on the same internship. They would be both going to Hosu City. And then the Nomus happen down there's so many Nomus. I'm telling you. But uh Todoroki would get a text and it would be like of coordinates, and it would be from Ida, right? It would be from Ida, and she would show it to Midoriya, right? And he would, they would both go to the coordinates, and they would be appear at them, to a scene of of Ida on the ground with the hero killer Stain on top of him with a blade about to go through Ida's neck. And Stain would look up and would say, well, ain't there more fake heroes trying to save these two? More fakes, more fakes. Now time to die. More fakes. You fake heroes. And well, Stain would be saying all this, and he would launch at Todoroki first because he could tell by the look of it. Well, he would know who they were, ish. Well, he would know about about Endeavor and his uh hero in deeds with his family. He would know his family ish. Like he would know the looks. And he would and Stain would recognize that. And but before he could even get a slash near Todoroki, Midoriya would jump in front and block with with his weapon, like the cleaver like weapon, right? And then they would start having like a weapon battle off, like they would be clashing weapons, right, back and forth until they got to like close to a wall. And so while during that fight, Stain's like main weapon, the katana, almost shattered because he blocked with it, trying to block a attack by Midoriya, which he used like he used the ratio line, like, and he got launched back to a wall. And by this point, Midoriya would know that this is basically an abandoned like building, like center. So he would hit the weapon as hard as he can against the wall right beside him, or like right above uh Stain, and all the debris that fell off. All it was, what was this called? He used it on Nanami did. He used it on Mahito when they first showed up. It was crumble, collapse. Why do I feel like it's collapse? I think I'm gonna say he doesn't name the move, but yet he hits the wall, right, and it would collapse. I think that's what it's called. I don't remember. But yet he would hit the wall, everything would fall onto the top Stain, all the debris, and now Stain would be under rubble, under debris, under like broken building, and everyone would look at Midoriya and say, well, good job, but yet you may have killed him. And Midoriya would look at him and say, so, and I knew that didn't kill him. He's right here. He's still moving. And while he was saying that, he would be backing up like slowly, still keeping his eyes on where Stain was, right? And Todoroki during that would be trying to pull Ida and the nearly dead hero called Native, uh, like to the entrance of the alleyway, right? she would be trying to pull him back, right? And but during this time, well, Midori would help Todoroki pull the two injured people in to the entrance, and Midori had his back turned to Stain at this point, and a knife went flying through the air and hit Midori in the back of his right leg, and it stuck in there. And he Midoriya turned around and saw Stain standing there, all bloodied, mangled, and uh and 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 Stain went running, rushing Midoriya first off, and Midoriya would turn around and pull off his tie, which confused Stain a little bit, but yet after he erupted in a he engulfed was engulfed in a blue aura, right? And they started going back at it again, fighting each other. Midoriya hit um Stain right in the chest and went and he went straight to the ground. He was unconscious. And by this time, Todoroki has texted uh Endeavor telling him what happened. And well, he would walk by. He would be a well. All the Nomus that was there died or were killed or whatever, murked. That's the word. But yet they would be dealt with. So he came by and saw that Midoriya had a knife in his leg, trying to get that out as safely as he can. And yeah, I will have to check what arc is next. I forget. But yet, yeah, they would go. They would get Stain, and but yet they Midoriya would sense a or like not really sense, but yet see out of the corner of his eye a Nomu flying, trying to hit Todoroki, or not Todoroki, a well one of the well trying to hit him because he was still staring down. He was be like while they took Stain in, and he could feel the knife like getting ripped out of his skin, out of his leg, and he saw it get thrown right at the Nomi's wing, or like at one of the appendages that caused the Nomu to fly, and it crashed. And Midora, as quickly as he could, would pull out the weapon and do well, he would start running at it, cut the head off immediately, ending that Nomu's existence just like that. He would take it down, bang, it dropped to the floor, and he would look back. He would grab the knife and look back. Well, he would leave the knife in. He would look back and see Stain standing there with heroes around him, and he would say, and Stain would say, "I see." Well, what the voice that I used for him? Well, you're the only one I see fit to actually be a hero. You took on injuries. You're still injured, I can see. And yet you still fought to save those two fake heroes. And now, now you captured me. Well, you see, you and All Might are the only two I seem fit now to actually capture me. Stay alive, kid. I want to see you become a hero. And well, he would get in the cop car and they would go. And Midori would look down at the Nomu that it was decomposing, like by itself, like weirdly. So he took out the knife and gave the knife to officials. And well, the internships would be caught off that after that. And I believe this is when they get like dorms or something. So, well, I'm gonna end it there. Okay. I don't want to bore you on about my um yeah, I'll end it there. Um in the description, you'll see the ships, well, possible ships. I'll have it in like a line, okay? You'll also find my Instagram down there, okay? So check, well, and put down in the comments, well, before that, subscribe, and all that jazz, right? Comment down below, your favorite color, and as you know, favorite fruit, like actual fruit, not devil fruit. Your fruit, your favorite fruit, okay? And put down any ships for my, well, put down ship name, like put down a character, okay? I have a couple in mind, a couple characters in mind, okay? I'll put down in the description, okay? I'll put it down there. You can either vote on it or down in the comments, put any of your suggestions. And I'm sorry that I didn't put up any community posts recently. I'll try to do a couple, okay? I'll try. I have to figure out how to do it, okay? So if you don't see any, I've been trying to figure it out, okay? So yeah, like, subscribe, share if you want to. If you know you have any friends also in anime and also into what ifs, send them this, I guess. If they like Nanami or any other Maya what ifs, okay? Send them it, share it. Let's see if by the end of the year, I let's see if I can get 50 subscribers, okay? I want to hit 50. If we can get 50 subscribers, I'll do a what if uh well you if you go to Instagram DM me any what if ideas and when we hit 50 subscribers, I'll do a special, okay? I'll do a special. You all get to pick the what if I do, okay? It will probably last for a couple parts because I don't, or yeah, I'll do a what if, a 50 subscriber special if we can hit 50 by the end of the year, okay? And I'll see you all on Wednesday with what if, what if Midoriya or Deku was the only male with a quirk. Goodbye to all, and well, goodbye. I'll see you Wednesday.